Assalamu alaikum. I am Umar Hassan. The topic I will be discussing today is, are arranged marriages a respectful tradition or a violation of personal freedom? This is an important question because arranged marriages are still very common in many cultures around the world. Some people see them as a source of family strength, while others see them as a restricting choice and freedom. The case for arranged marriages as a tradition in many societies, arranged marriages are viewed as a respectful and valuable tradition. Families believe they are helping their children make the best decision for a stable future. Parents usually consider social background, religion, financial security, and family compatibility all factors that can strengthen the marriage. Supporters also argue that arranged marriages bring two families together, not just two individuals, which can provide a strong support system. In some cases, arranged marriages have shown high levels of stability, trust, and long term success. The case against personal freedom. But critics argue that arranged marriages can limit personal freedom. Marriage is one of the most personal choices in life, and when that choice is made primarily by family, the individual's voice may not be fully heard. In some cases, arranged marriages slide into forced marriages, where pressure, obligation, or fear leave no room for true consent. From a human rights perspective, this is a violation of personal freedom and autonomy. Even when consent is technically asked, cultural pressure can make it very hard to say no. The ethical dilemma. So, the ethical question is, can arranged marriages exist while still respecting freedom? If both individuals freely agree, then arranged marriage can be seen as a blend of tradition and choice. But if there's a pressure, fear, or lack of consent, it crosses the line into violating rights. This shows that the issue is not black and white, it depends on whether the arrangement is respectful or coercive. Finding balance. A possible middle ground is promoting arranged introductions instead of arranged commitments. Families can introduce potential partners, but the final decision should rest with the individuals involved. This way, the cultural value of family guidance is preserved while also protecting the freedom to choose. In modern society, some people call this a guided choice rather than an imposed one. Conclusion. So, are arranged marriages a respectful tradition or a violation of personal freedom? The truth is, they can be either. When there is a mutual consent and respect, arranged marriages can honor tradition while allowing individual happiness. But when consent is absent, they clearly violate freedom and dignity. Ultimately, respecting both cultural heritage and personal autonomy is the most ethical path forward. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Umar Hassan, and today I will be presenting on an ethical issue that is still widely debated across cultures. Are arranged marriages a respectful tradition or a violation of personal freedom? At first, arranged marriage may sound like a practice from the past, but the reality is that millions of people around the world continue to enter arranged marriages every year. For some, this tradition represents love supported by family guidance. For others, it raises questions about freedom of choice and consent. Let me begin with a real life example. In 2017, the BBC reported the story of Jaswinder Sangera, a British woman of South Asian heritage. At the age of 14, she was shown photos of a man her parents wanted her to marry. When she resisted, she faced enormous pressure from her family. Eventually, she ran away from home to escape a marriage she didn't choose. Later in life, she became an activist against forced marriages. This story highlights the ethical tension. Arranged marriages may begin with cultural respect, but without genuine consent, they risk becoming a violation of personal freedom. From the perspective of tradition, arranged marriages are often seen as respectful and beneficial. Parents and elders use their wisdom and social networks to choose partners who share the same cultural background, religion, and values. Families believe they are protecting their children from making impulsive choices based only on attraction. Supporters argue that arranged marriages strengthen community ties, reduce conflict between families, and sometimes even produce high stability. Studies in parts of India and Pakistan have shown that divorce rates are lower in arranged marriages compared to love marriages. From this angle, arranged marriages are less about control and more about guidance, respect, and stability. But from the perspective of personal freedom, arranged marriages can be problematic. Marriage is one of the most personal decisions a person can make. When family pressure limits their choice, autonomy is compromised. In extreme cases, arranged marriages can turn into forced marriages where saying no is not really an option. Ethically, this violates the principle of consent, which is the foundation of human rights and personal dignity. Even when consent is formally asked, cultural pressure may make refusal very difficult. So, while arranged marriages can be respectful, they risk becoming coercive if the individual's free choice is not generally protected. From an ethical framework perspective, Kantian ethics reminds us that people must be treated as ends in themselves, not merely as means to satisfy family honor or tradition. If individuals are pushed into marriage without free choice, they are being used to serve collective goals rather than respected as an autonomous person. On the other hand, a utilitarian approach might argue that if arranged marriages bring stability and happiness to the greatest number, families, communities, and sometimes even the couple, then they can be seen as ethical justified. This shows that the moral evaluation depends heavily on whether consent is real and respected. From my personal point of view, I believe arranged marriages can be a respectful tradition only when the individuals involved have the final say. Family support and introductions can be valuable, but they should never replace freedom of choice. Personally, I respect cultural traditions, but I also believe that happiness in marriage depends on the willingness of both people. If I were in such a situation, I would want my family's advice, but I would not want the decision made for me. For me, true respect for tradition means blending cultural values with individual freedom. In conclusion, arranged marriages are not automatically respectful or automatically a violation. They exist on a spectrum. When they involve open dialogue, consent, and mutual respect, they can honor tradition while supporting love and choice. But when they involve pressure or lack of consent, they cross the line into violating personal freedom. Therefore, the most ethical path forward is to preserve the cultural beauty of arranged introductions while always protecting the universal value, personal autonomy. Thank you so much. That's all from my side.